is a public service announcement brought to you by your friends at Degeneration X.
Break it down!
Hey YouTubers, Degeneration HanX here, and it's about time for me to do another rant. And to start off, I have to make an agreement with somebody here that I really don't like, and that's WWE champion CM Punk. And basically, this is what one of the things, many things he said made him look like an idiot, but this one I have to say I agree with. And basically, it was directed towards John Cena, and basically that's when he called him a what was it called? A passive aggressive weenie, because in all intents and purposes, John Cena is a weenie. He's, he caves in to all the demands that the mothers out there, the mothers who don't watch WWE, they're the ones who brought the downfall of the Attitude Era. Because they started complaining, because they thought their boys were going to go out and do the backyard wrestling stuff, and just because WWE's violent and stuff, it's wrestling, bitches. You gotta pay attention. It's, wrestling is not for little kids. Wrestling is for adult males out there. And there are some women out there, I have to say, you can watch it too, but it's not for wishy-washy people like you mothers out there, that instead of, if you see something you don't want your kids to see, get off your lazy asses, change the channel. There's those remotes that helps you change your channel to your favorite talk shows and your soap operas and stuff. That works too, by changing the channel on something you don't want your kids to watch. Don't be calling and complaining to the WWE about something you don't approve of, or the government, or some sort of bullshit like that. All you need to do is change the channel or turn off the television if you don't want your kids to see it. But thanks to women like you out there, you modern mothers out there, now we have pussy fags like John Cena, who seems to jump on every damn activist bandwagon it is that the WWE tends to support. Now, of course, currently it's breast cancer. And he's going around wearing pink, and now he's saying that, real men wear pink. No, real men do not wear pink. Real men can support breast cancer awareness and all that without having to dress in feminine colors. And this is the same guy back in June, I believe, shortly after I did my little brony rant, that he kind of made a little snide comment to Michael Cole, saying that he might be a brony. I saw that. It's pretty funny. I thought, hey, there might be some hope for John Cena, especially, when he was going after laryngitis, or whatever you want to pronounce it, John Laurinaitis, for being a big bully. And he does it the right way. He doesn't do what what he supports. How these, that's another thing, this anti-bullying thing that WWE has gotten into. Wait a minute. But it certainly shows the opposite. When there's a bully in the WWE like John Laurinaitis, or currently like CM Punk, what did they do? They don't sit down and hold hands and talk about each other's feelings and say, "Oh, don't make fun of each other. Words hurt." The only reason why mothers and stuff are getting involved with that is now that girls are, being bullied. Now, when it was just little nerd boys and little skinny guys, it was, they didn't really worry about that. Even though that's been going on for decades, bullying and stuff. I think it went back to, centuries. But now that certain groups, including women, are getting bullied, oh no, we gotta do it here. Why couldn't we stop it years ago when it was just certain groups, certain like nerds and stuff? Now that girls are say, oh no, we gotta stand. And besides, breast cancer not only just attacks women. Some men do get breast cancer, but because John Cena had some personal stakes involving breast cancer, he has to be the spokesperson, even though they have the divas that are perfect spokesmodels for this thing. Why don't you let them be the spokespersons for the this breast cancer awareness thing that WWE's gotten themselves into? John Cena, you're making yourself look more like a pussy whip guy. I mean, you got to remember, back during the waning years of the Attitude Era, he got some attitude. Some of his moves that he still does. If I don't totally know, but I know that one of them had "fu," meaning "fuck you." But because the mothers got so upset about what that word stands for, John Cena had to go and please them and change the abbreviation of that move. And and it's like, yeah, he is, and of course he is supposed to be the face of the WWE. Even though we have, Sheamus, who of course is the big tough guy, the big brawler fighter guy, who is still, I think is more reminiscent of the Attitude Era than John Cena. And, but, and CM Punk, even though he's a heel now and he's a jerk and a bully and stuff, at least he doesn't puss out. But here's, he's not my, favorite. I mean, I mostly go in there to see guys like, Santino Marella or Sheamus or see some appearances of Degeneration X, which still happens. So, we just had the 1000th episode of Raw with almost all original members of Degeneration X in there. That doesn't mean just because, Shawn Michaels and Triple H have retired from wrestling, that doesn't mean that they can't come out and be DX, with the silly stuff. But the John Cena bullshit, it's worse than when Hulk Hogan was champion in WWE. I mean, the only difference between Hulk Hogan and John Cena is that at least John Cena appears on the weekly shows. He doesn't just appear on the pay-per-view shows like Hulk Hogan always did. He always defended his title on a pay-per-view show. He didn't do the weekly shows until he went to the WCW, and of course he's on other stuff. And by the way, kids, if John Cena's so good, why is it that he got his ass handed to him by The Rock, one of the embodiments of the Attitude Era? John Cena is basically a Hulk Hogan wannabe, with the colorful shirts and the activist chasing and everything. But it just makes him out to be whipped. He's a whipped wrestler, and he's just basically what the WWE is trying to model themselves out, I guess, to cave in on the demands of mothers who don't really watch it, and they don't have the sense enough to just change the channel when they don't want their kids to watch it. And it's just sickening that he's a passive aggressive weenie. I have to agree with CM Punk there, but even though I don't like CM Punk and all. But the watering down started with him, changing the meaning of his abbreviations for his wrestling moves, and everything he does seems to please mothers and the feminazis out there. Not that breast cancer is not, but my personal opinion, I think all cancers are serious. I think we should just not just focus on one just because a certain group complains about it all the time. I think we should go to all cancers that affects everybody: men, women, children, old people. What's this specialization on breast cancer just because the group affected by it is the loudest voice on it? Why don't we just take care of all the cancers? And and putting it on putting on a thing for wrestling, which is basically it just shows that they're not catering to the original people that they're focusing on, and they're just focusing on the mothers that like to complain about things just because it's masculine, or they think boys are going to be influenced by it. By the way, that backyard wrestling movement that came out over a decade ago, Yeah, that might have gotten a little bit of influence because of things like ECW and all that stuff. That was even before WWE acquired it. The hardcore wrestling and all that kind of stuff. That's because a bunch of idiot guys who were already in shape and were perfectly able to do that stuff started doing it in their backyards instead of, try to blow money on trying to get to the WWE or the ECW or the WCW. They started to say, hey, let's do it ourselves. But then, chain of events, because of concerned mothers with no sense about to install some intelligence in their kids directly. And it's just, I just don't like it when that happens. That mothers, it's mostly mothers who are too domineering, but yet so lazy they're not direct to their kids. They're just trying to get the stuff on the outside. They're not supposed to control. They're supposed to control their kids while of course they're disciplining their husbands. Of course they spoil their kids, by the way, and say, oh, well, you'll let them have their wrestling, but we're going to change it from behind the scenes. No. Let us have the wrestling like it's supposed to be. Back when we had the Attitude Era, let's get rid of pussies like John Cena as the face of the WWE, and let's get Sheamus. At least he knows how to kick ass. Let's bring back DX. If we have DX 2.0 with some new wrestlers and brought in, I don't know, but no more John Cena pussiness. I'm tired of him trying to all he does is, if he's not trying to upheld some mother-backed bullshit movement, it's him trying, being lame in almost every wrestling event that he's in, and then bitch about it and stuff. I don't know. He bitches about more of it than the heels do. But this is Degeneration HanX. Finally having my own rant about something going on in wrestling. Yeah, I know that was inevitable with me doing, with DX. But and stay tuned here for the Weirdo Network for more insanity. Stay tuned.
Well, I guess if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!